Hiya! Penguin Truth here, still in this weird sky country. But never mind that, it's another episode of Otaku Evolution, and it's time to revisit Haruka Takachiho's Crusher Joe. Or rather, it's time to revisit Yoshikazu Yasuhiko's Oh, right. He only did the character designs this time. Which probably explains why this OVA, unlike the Crusher Joe movie, is just the right length and scope for a space adventure story. The first of two OVA features, The Ice Prison, is directed by Big Wars director Toshifumi Takizawa and Blue Comet Lasner's scribe Fuyunori Gobu, and at about an hour in runtime, is tighter and more exciting than the movie. But, of course, at an hour in length, that means this will be a bit of a short video, now doesn't it? Well, if you're thinking I could have covered both OVAs and I'm just milking this for as long as I can, you are, of course, correct. It seems that on the planet of Kirius, there are mass protests over the despotic leader, Gelstan, that are being met with serious suppressing force. However, the prison asteroid, where political prisoners are kept to do mining work, falls out of its orbit because of a malfunction in the satellite and is heading for a dangerous collision with the surface. Being a dictator can be so stressful, I've heard. Well, the government of Kirius requests the help of the Crusher organization, who do a variety of dangerous work. And guess who drew the short lot that interrupted their sunny vacation? Yep, it's Joe, and his team. Grown-up Kika, Dozozabi, and that kid. And get this. They're the only team within range. Like this was Star Trek. So our heroes take off in their ship, the Minerva, and rendezvous with an official from Kirius on a space station. The Jamatov Hymen clone here is Hume, one of Gelstan's subordinates, and he's skeptical of a team consisting of mostly youngsters. Dozel, Talos, is skeptical too, because given Gelstan's reputation, it's surprising that Kirius wouldn't just blow up the asteroid completely instead of rescuing the prisoners. Chemitov insists that despite rumors, the government of Kirius isn't malevolent, and of course they value the lives of the prisoners just as they would anyone. Yeah, and I'm sure the forced labor camp in the asteroid that shocks the prisoners if they stop working is happy fun times. That Gelstan, such a humanitarian. Doing some recon on the surface of the asteroid, the group confirms that it's largely ice, having been used as a kind of aquifer for the planet. Joe figures that they can probably use ship engines to move the frozen mass out of the way of Kirius, but first they'll need to assemble as many space drives as they can and calculate their placement positions. For that, they're using Dongo, the robot. Apparently, Hume called in as much press as possible to cover the Crushers, because they're being closely monitored as they work with the gathered ships to move the asteroid with their combined thrust power. However, as it happens, Hume is more interested in sabotaging their efforts.
You see, Joe, all we needed was to have been seen to have paid the Crushers handsomely as they attempted to rescue the prisoners. Even though it confounded his political adversaries, His Excellency Gelstan made their rescue the top priority. But unfortunately, the attempts weren't successful. Such a tragic event, don't you agree?
Damn you, Hume!
Don't feel badly. It's simply business. Young Crushers face difficult mission, die in the attempt. That's such a poignant scenario, don't you think?
Crush!
Yep. Gelstan and Hume were merely making a show of attempting to move the asteroid. With the Crushers team's plans failed, the government can rid themselves of some political dissidents and still look good. Unfortunately, Joe's been cut off from his team and is unable to relay the betrayal back to them, so he decides to get some help from an unlikely place. The prisoners. Joe explains to the prisoners the situation they're in, and they're not really shocked that Hume would pull this crap. At this point, they're pretty desperate for rescue, and they don't want to hear Joe doesn't have enough room in his ship for everyone. So he hatches a plan to create a barrier for them all deep in the asteroid where the ice is the thickest. Hume has the rest of Joe's team taken into custody, hoping to execute them to tie up loose ends, but naturally, when you have a guy with a gun arm on your team, you have a habit of breaking free.
Come on, you two, let's get the hell out of here.
Ricky, go!
Behind you!
Meanwhile, Joe puts his plan into action, blowing up much of the outer parts of the asteroid as it enters the atmosphere to make it look real, but using engines to carry the section away. It looks good enough for Gelstan and Hume to buy it, though eventually Hume catches on and sends some craft to finish everyone off. Joe's crew pick up on his rescue beacon and prepare to intercept him before Gelstan's forces can. And frankly, this leads to the highlight of the feature, some really boss space combat. We got Joe using a missile launcher, Kika and the kids' fighters blasting them, and Dozel backing them up with an Itano circus. They start towing the asteroid fragment, but Hume arrives in his ship. It's all pretty impressive. Really, go watch yourself. Well, all of this ruckus attracts the attention of the United Space Force. Normally they can't work within certain borders, so fortunate then that Hume's ship has wandered over the line to where they can act. He stubbornly refuses to cease firing, however, blasting at a USF ship. This is a very poor decision on his part, because they've got the big guns. And the thing about having the big guns is, when you have them, you just got to use them. So long, Jamatov Light. You were, in the end, a complete waste of atoms. Well, the Crushers received the usual cold welcome they're used to from the military, or at least until the officer in charge shares a laugh with Joe, revealing that they're actually on friendly terms, much to his team's astonishment. The rescued prisoners plan on returning to Kirius to continue rebelling against Gelstan's rule. Joe is optimistic for their chances, though I can't imagine why. And so, the Minerva blasts off into hyperspace towards their next adventure. The end. That was a brief but wonderfully charming space romp. Characterization is a little thin, the feature relying more on plot and visuals, but the set pieces and the atmosphere were excellent and the soundtrack is noteworthy too. I cannot stress enough just how huge an improvement this is over the movie. The movie had some fun, but it was largely forgettable. This, I would watch this again. It's available from Discotheque Media if you want to pick it up with the second OVA feature. So anyway, I think I'm going to go check on what Pen's saying to Lord Capington Doucheton IV, Esquire, and make sure the little drunk isn't causing an international incident. Though I guess he probably had the same idea about me. Given what I'm reviewing next time, I may just cause such an incident. I've been dreading the day for some time. Until then, see ya!
Well, it's nice to see you're a man after all. I was beginning to worry about you.
I know it's a lot to take in, but time is of the essence. My father, that is, the King of Swell, wishes to strike an alliance with your country and your neighbors. Yes. Such silly names you newer lowlander nations have. The world is becoming a more dangerous place for Zwell. More people are catching on to its existence. Would you believe we've spent millennia shrouded in a pocket of reality? It's why I was so obsessed with obtaining a power like that crystal.
Hey, Prince Callus. You wouldn't know of any empty buildings I could watch this next anime I'm due to review in, do you? Something, scheduled for demolition?
I cannot imagine why you would ask such a thing. Why would you need...
Do you know of one or not?
Well, there is this castle we were looking to renovate.
Excellent. Oh, and have some of your military at the ready. It's gonna get a little dicey when I'm finished.
I have a feeling I'm going to need one more than you.